public speaking portion tonight, I got up and I talked about a conflict of interest. What it was the other meeting, Chairman Mirabella said that the head of the budget committee to review the county budget is going to be Freeholder Sullivan. Now, I don't remember, if you recall, the authority, the Union County Utilities Authority head was kind of like pushed out, let's say. I don't, we don't really know what the underlying factors were. But suddenly he was stepping down and they had an opening. And so they decided, since Freeholder Sullivan doesn't have a job in the real world, why don't we give him the Union County Utility Authority's job for, I think it was like $140,000? Something like that, 140. But he's not going to take a freeholder salary, so at least that's a plus. He's so nice. 130,000.
I don't think he was allowed to.
Yeah, maybe. So anyway, so people were saying that was a conflict of interest, but it continued on anyway. So now we have a Freeholder Sullivan, who's the head of the UCUA and also a freeholder at the same time, is now overseeing the budget process for the county. I got up in the public speaking portion. I said, this is a direct conflict of interest because the UCUA actually has a revenue stream from the Utilities Authority into the county of millions of dollars. So right there, you have the head of the Union County Utilities Authority overseeing the Union County government budget that receives these millions of dollars from the authority. The interesting thing was, in the wrap-up comments, we had Sullivan commenting this. This is what Sullivan said.
One of the speakers spoke about a possible conflict that I might have. I would say this, if I thought there was any conflict, I would step aside on any matter. County Council has never said there's a conflict, so there is no conflict. End of story.
All right, now, and he referred to County Council, saying that it's not a conflict of interest. Well, guess what? Later on in the wrap-up comments, then County Council had a speaking portion. So he starts speaking about a conflict of interest, and he starts talking about, and you'll see, John will put this on, but he starts talking about somebody in the public talked about a conflict of interest, and then he went off on a tangent talking about a courthouse. Instead of the budget process, he started about conflict of interest with the courthouse, this family court building. So the guy's clueless. It makes you really wonder what's going on at the legal profession. But anyway, this is what Barry said. It was kind of like a winding, rambling thing.
On the new family courthouse project, particularly in reference to one speaker who mentioned there was some kind of a conflict, or the last meeting or the meeting before, there was some issue between the county and the courts, which actually is the furthest thing from the truth. To go over this again, the entire origin of this project dealt with issues between the county and the state of New Jersey relative to safety and fire code issues in the town. It has been an ongoing issue for at least 9 years now. We have investigated a number of alternatives. At one point in time, the state of New Jersey basically gave us two alternatives. One was to build an exterior staircase on the historic tower, or build an interior stairwell into the tower. After a great deal of analysis, it was deemed that as between the two, the more likely one was to go with an interior stairwell. The problem with an interior stairwell was going to be an enormous disruption of the courts, where we have limited space already and where we could place the other courtrooms. Also, an enormous cost that was just not fiscally responsible. The estimates for an interior stairwell for the tower was $29 million. So at one point, probably closer to about 2 years ago, the county started reviewing the possibility of moving some of the courtrooms to a new location, which basically, with the cooperation, as opposed to any kind of conflict between the courts, with the cooperation of the courts that initially with Judge Barasonic and now with Judge Cassidy, we identified a location, and determination was made that the best approach to this would be to move the entire family court operations to a new location. That's how that came up. I know that there was a discussion or a mention a couple of weeks ago with reference to the courts, but that was not with reference to any conflict we had with the courts. It was with reference to the state takeover in 1995, and while that takeover didn't occur, and certainly relieved counties of a certain financial burden that they were bearing for the courts, it didn't remove all of our responsibilities. It took care of judges' salaries, support staff salaries, probation salaries, etc., and a number of expenses in addition to that. But what it left with the county was the responsibility to continue to provide accommodations, continue to provide courtrooms, continue to provide as much parking as we had provided as of that date. Everything we provided to the courts as of 1995, we were mandated to continue doing that. If we had built the interior staircase, we were then going to be presented with not only an enormous cost that we did not think was fiscally responsible, but probably courtrooms that weren't going to be as efficient and effective because they were going to be much smaller now that we had built an interior stairwell. So I just think that reviewing that history again is important to understand and not allow any representation or understanding that there's some kind of a conflict between us and the courts to continue.
Okay.
So anyway, so what we have is probably one guy lying and the other guy swears to it. That's bottom line. Totally clueless. We do have an illegal government going on here. Obviously, all the people out there in TV land know it, from the years and years of what we exposed. This is just another jigsaw piece. Thank you.